Clary. I'm at Clarys Restaurant. Not a chef, but I'm a trail boss cook. And now I'm getting ready to do one of my famous platters called a Biagas platter. And I remember the lady came in from New Orleans and she really wanted to have an elegant wedding dinner at Clarys. And she wanted me to design something that fit the name and the occasion. So their last name was Biagas. So then when I started talking to her about a steak and seafood type dinner, if I couldn't do something, it had to have seafood in it if it was done at Clarys. And that's when I came with the name Biagas. So what it wound up being is a filet mignon with jumbo lump crab meat and flame broiled shrimp with grilled tomatoes on the platter. And that was the Biagas platter. Okay, good. And that's the platter I'm getting ready to start off fixing now, would be the Biagas platter. And that's going to be followed by another platter called a sirloin beef platter, which is one that's been around for a while. And a little bit of the story on that one, every time the lady was in childbearing stages, she always craved that little mixture of things she wanted, so she called out here, she came out here and made up her own menu. So by that time I decided, well, we'll just call this the sirloin beef platter, in which has been very famous to us, everybody knows that sirloin beef platter. It's very easy for the waiters. And that was another one. Now my newest one is called Sablano platter. And it was a young man with his family, and he said, well, we want to go out to dinner. Where would y'all like to go? And he said, well, God, let's go to Clarys. It is a Sablano's restaurant. And I tried to look up the name to follow up to what his expectation was, and then I came up with the menu called Sablano platter. And that's my last platter that I'm fixing. We'll do that today also, okay? Thank you. Okay, now, what we're working on now, we're now working on, we're going to work on all three of them together. So this, we're now working on we're doing the Biagas platter. And these are the shrimp. This is flame broiled shrimp. And then we're also doing the sirloin beef platter, which is the flame broiled shrimp. And we're doing the lump crab meat. Okay, this is the lump crab meat for the Biagas platter, and this is the lump crab meat for the sirloin beef platter. Both of them are lump crab meat, but the difference on the sirloin beef, it has a slight bit of cheddar cheese. Little sprinkle of green onions right on top. And we'll go over here and we'll lace both of them with a little bit of melted butter. And then now what we're going to do is let them sit here one, because when you put them in the oven, the crab meat doesn't take long to cook. And I don't want my crab meat to overcook. Okay, now those two there. Now we're going to go back over here and I'll get my fish ready for the two platters, the Sablano and the sirloin beef. Okay, now we're going to get this fish out of here. Get that all ready. This. Then we're going to do this part here. I forgot to mention, got two of those platters. Go with the grilled oysters on that sirloin beef platter. These are my oysters and the grilled fish. Now that's into the seasoned flour. Now we go over here and do this number right here. Fish take a little while to cook, so I'm gonna put the fish on first, like this. A little bit of butter, and I'll lay the fish down and this on right here. Now as I say, we're now working on 3 different platters. Now put a little bit of oil. Try to move as fast as I can so that way you can get everything done at appropriate timing. Go right here, everything is done. Get that wonderful flavor that stays consistent with all cooked order. Add it at the time you need. Okay, now, all my oysters. Now what I'm going to do is just go ahead on and lace this a little bit more. Make sure we got enough butter while this is cooking. Okay. Put this back in here. While I'm getting that going, I'm going to go ahead on and get my butter going for my other platter. I'm saying the bland one, but that's maybe some a little bit different. But when you did trail balls cooking, sometimes you get a little confused with the word. But the food is always disappearing. Okay, now I'm going to do that so that the butter kind of melt a little bit. Now while this is going, I'm going to come over here and just get my hand a little bit of a wash there, so that way that I'm going. Okay. Now let's go ahead on and about just be simple because it's just about cooking. Yeah, you can see the difference in the color. You want to definitely have that little crust to them and a little tropical flavor to them. Yeah, now oysters are already brown. Just take those oysters on the cook, they're already brown. Now the fish need to go just a little bit longer. Now filet steak, the nicest thing about it, by being so thick, you definitely want to continue flipping it over so that way the sauce juice kind of drains through it but doesn't dry out while it's cooking. Okay, now we'll go ahead and start off on my